Optimizing your Google Ads campaign so that you show up more often, outrank your competitors, pay less per click, and dominate your market. That's what we're going to go over today. I'm going to show you how you could analyze your campaign KPIs and how to interpret and read the data so that you know what adjustments you should make, where to make them, and why to make them. So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to go over to columns and we're going to modify the metrics that we're able to see in our overview page. So you'll notice on the top left that I've selected to view all my campaigns. Then over in this column on the left side, I've selected campaigns. And now I'm going to modify the columns so that I can see what really is important for me. So I'm going here, here, and then we're going to performance. Let's make sure we select clicks, impressions, CTR, average cost per click. Again, clicks, impressions, CTR, average cost per click, and we are going to add cost right here. Okay. Then we're going to scroll down a little bit and we're going to select conversions. We want to see our conversions, our cost per conversion, and our conversion rate. And then we're going to competitive metrics and we're going to select to look search impression share, search top impression share, which means whenever your ad shows up within the first 4 results of the Google page, your search absolute top impression share, meaning number 1. And we're going to select our search lost impression share due to rank and our search lost impression share due to budget, right? Because we want to understand what is happening in our campaign. How come we're missing so much impression share? Why are we not showing up more often? That's what this whole video is about, is to show you how to organize, how to analyze, how to interpret, and then what you could actually do with this information to start seeing better results. And over here, we're going to save this, save your column set. We're going to name it Best KPIs and apply. Oh, before we hit apply, let's organize it, right? So that we can read the data better. We're going to remove campaign type. We're going to move first clicks, followed by impressions, followed by CTR, followed by average cost per click, cost, and then we're going search impression share, search top impression share, search absolute top impression share, lost rank, lost budget, optimization score. That's not really that important. It could sometimes be very misleading. Just so you know, 100% impression share doesn't mean you're doing fantastic. And then we have our conversions, which should be right before impression share. Let me move that up here. Just drag and drop. Cost per conversion the same way. Let's move that up here. Conversions, conversion rate, and cost per conversion. There we go. Now we go ahead and apply. So what we have here is our main search campaign in the last 14 days has received 16 clicks and the CTR has been 9.30%. There's a website called WordStream, which gives you an industry analysis over what's considered to be average or good CTR, but definitely a 9.30 is an excellent CTR. What that means is that you're closing the gap between the number of times that your ad showed versus the number of clicks it received, meaning that a higher CTR generally is a result of a more relevant ad being shown to a more specific audience. Basically, you're honing in on the right target. Then over here, we have our average cost per click, our cost, our conversions, our conversion rate. Fantastic, 37% conversion rate. 1 out of every 3 clicks turns into a lead. Cost per conversion, search top impression share. Great. So over here, the search top impression share is telling us, hey advertiser, out of 100 times that your ad is eligible to show, you're showing up 63% of the time in the first 4 results of Google. That's fantastic. Then overall, in general, combining the top or the bottom results, because you also have a space for 3 more ads in the bottom, paid ads, 70% of the time. 70% of the time. And then our search absolute top impression share is 23%. So out of the target area, the target keywords, the bids that we have in the whole campaign setting, out of all of that, the result is that 23.86% of the time over the last 14 days, our ad has been number 1 on Google. Not number 2 or 3 or 4, but number 1. That's not bad. That's 1 out of every 5. So, or 4.5. So that's not bad. And a lot of times, in my experience, I've noticed that being number one doesn't always pay off. A lot of times people tend to overlook the first position and rather click on the second, third, or fourth. It varies. So if this were underperforming, because this is not underperformance by any means, this is great performance. If this were underperforming in the sense that our search impression share was less than 10%, that's alarming. So let's pretend it is. Like in this case where we have, well, they're actually both good, but let's pretend it's less than 10%. What you want to do at that point, okay, you've analyzed, all right, my ad's not showing up for any traffic, I'm not getting enough clicks, why am I missing out on the market share? First, take a look at your budget, right, and your average cost per click, because you may have a big gap, like your CPCs are $5.40, but your budget is $10. Obviously, you could only afford 2 clicks. So at that point, what you want to do is optimize the campaign by going through your settings. So are you targeting a large area, larger than you need, larger than you can afford to? Let's say you're targeting a 100-mile radius from XY zip code or city. Bring that down. You don't really want to advertise and spread $30 over 100 miles if you could first grab some leads from low-hanging fruit, people in your area that may be looking for your product or service. So trim the fat by reducing your target area. For that, you'll just go into your campaign, click on settings, go to locations, and reduce it. And then most importantly, look down here where it says location options. You want to make sure you have the second choice selected. If you don't, immediately switch it, go to the second one, and then hit save. Because what the first setting does is it technically gives Google the flexibility to show your ad outside of your target area. And they don't really tell you where, but they'll get the clicks for you from outside the target area. So you want to have a safer and more controlled environment by only showing your ads within your targeted intended area. So that would be here, and then hit save. And then, are you a roadside assistant, or are you really trying to run your ads 24/7, even though you're not awake or you don't have staff attending the phone 24/7? Probably not. So go to your ad schedule, optimize your ad schedule. Instead of running 24/7, break it down within hours that you're actually available and want to receive leads. So in this case, we have it starting at 7, ending at 9 o'clock. And not only do we have the ads running within a logical ad schedule for this type of business, but we also have them broken down into time slots, because as you can see here, we can select to look at what time of day the conversions come in at. And if we notice that there's a darker shade of blue within a certain time slot, we could tell Google, hey Google, I noticed that my leads generally come after lunch. Let me go ahead and place a bid adjustment, or let me go ahead and see if my ad rank drops or what happens within that hour, so that I can continue to get good results then. So I'll lower my bids between 7 in the morning to noon, and then I'll just do a slight bid increase so that I'm willing to pay more per click within 12 to 3 p.m. so that I continue to get more calls during that time, because the behavior of my ideal client is generally that they're going to call within that time. And then you also have another way of trimming fat, which is devices. Most people that are on computers are at an office setting. A lot of times it's solicitors, telemarketers, or just people trying to provide some type of add-on service for what your business is and not necessarily trying to hire you. So what I've seen work best is just excluding computers, obviously depending on the type of business. If it's high-end real estate, you don't necessarily want to exclude computer traffic. But if your business is more linear, short-term hire, and it's more mobile, just go ahead and tell Google, hey, let me place a negative bid adjustment, decrease my bids on desktop by 100% or 50% or 80%, and have more of your $30 a day budget or whatever you have go towards mobile traffic. Already you're starting to optimize your campaign and get better results. Then you have your keywords. Now for confidential purposes, I'm not going to show the keywords, and I'm not going to show a lot of this other information, but you can go to your keywords and look for outliers. Which are the keywords that have a terribly low CTR? Do you have any keywords with a CTR of 0% or less than 1% or 2%? Those might be too broad. Maybe you're targeting keywords that at one point you thought were good, but they're too broad. They can be mixed with movie titles, toys, sports. It could just be a keyword that can mean a different thing for someone else. So to check that, once you identify a keyword that's not converting or it's not getting the high enough CTR, you could look at the specific search terms that keyword has triggered. So you would select the checkbox next to the keyword, go over to search terms, and then you would read through what it is that people have actually typed into their searches and what actually was the query that they ended up clicking your ad for. And you'll identify, are you showing up for customer service phone numbers? Are people thinking that you're somebody else? Are they looking for your competitor and you're getting calls like, oh yeah, I'd like to change my appointment, and you realize they're not even in your client database. They're thinking they're calling the other competitor. That's frustrating. So there's always, and this is just scratching the surface, there's always ways to optimize so that you can continue to improve your call ratio, we'll say, or conversion rate. Okay, so these are just some of the KPIs that I like to look at when I'm analyzing a campaign. Again, I'll recap. It's clicks, impressions, CTR, average cost per click, cost, conversion rate, cost per conversion, if I haven't already said that one, search impression share, search top impression share, search absolute top impression share, and then search lost impression share due to budget and due to rank. Then obviously you could go into more in-depth stuff such as keyword quality score and all, but at a first glance, this is what I would help you look at, and then from there we can make decisions. If you have any questions, or if this was a lot of information and you would like to have me or my team go over your personal account and give you an audit, a free audit, feel free to reach out to mediaspearhead.com or call 904-479-6112. Have an awesome day.